Good morning. Happy Thursday. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum here with some words of wisdom for your day. And I hope you're off to a good start today. It's very cold here, as usual. And I think it's funny. I'm going to be leaving Saturday morning early, and then it's going to start to warm up. But that's okay because I'm leaving my car at the airport, so it'll probably start when I get back, which will be good. Looks like someone has popped on. Can't see who yet, but welcome. Glad you are here. Good morning, good morning. And we actually have a chapter in Taking the War Out of Our Words. Good morning, Janine. You are the first one to pop on today. The Art of Powerful Non-Defensive Communication by Sharon Ellison. Good morning, Cindy. Welcome, welcome. So my little counter caught up. We'll see how many others pop on. But we're getting quite close to the end of the book. I would say if there's 3 or 4 more sections in here for us to do, that'll be it. And we will have conquered Taking the War Out of Our Words, the Art of Powerful Non-Defensive Communication. Good morning, Abigail. Welcome. Glad you are here on this fine Thursday. Thank you for the sunrise. Dark, dark, dark here at the moment, and it must be incredibly cold out because I heard someone go through and their car was just squealing. So I think that was protest. So for those of you who have the book and want to follow along with me, we're on page 240, and it's in the section that's practicing the art of becoming non-defensive. And this particular section is called the non-defensive process in the context of various types of relationships. So basically what she's going to do is walk through utilizing all of the things she's taught us so far within the context of a peer-peer relationship. So it might be with a spouse, it might be with a coworker, it might be with a sibling, but peer-peer relationships, a friend. And it's kind of funny because I was reading I love the fact that she puts in the dialogue. So what do people literally say when they're doing this? Because I can always tweak the words to suit my own style, but it's helpful to have the words. I hate when they say something like on the computer, well, now navigate to blah and do blah, but they don't tell you how to do it. I want to know how to do it. And in this case, I want to know, what are the words? What are the words that you use to accomplish this thing? Just saying powerful non-defensive communication doesn't tell me how to do it. But when she puts in the little vignettes and gives us the words, then it's much easier for us to practice this stuff. So I kind of think it's cool that this is the section we're going to be doing today, so that good morning, Steve. Welcome, welcome. So that you all have something to practice while I'm on vacation. All right. And that's something I wanted to talk about a little bit too. So tomorrow will probably be the last live for a little over a week. And that doesn't mean stop doing your stuff. Okay. That means go back, pick out some of the ones. Some of you like to do the hashtag replay. Go back to some of your replays and watch them again. So keep your practice. If every day you're on here listening to me, keep your practice. Pick one of the old ones. Do it again. Sometimes it can be fun to just scroll back through my feed and look at them. Well, I like the shirt she was wearing that day. I'll listen to that one. Or her facial expression looks happy that day. I'll listen to that one. However you want to pick them out. But keep doing your stuff, okay? Because it's important to keep the flow and the momentum going, right? So for today, we have Taking the War Out of Our Words, the Art of Powerful Non-Defensive Communication by Sharon Ellison. And again, we are on page 240. We have made it through 240 pages of new ways to communicate with people. Yay, us. This is awesome. So this part is called the non-defensive process in the context of various types of relationships. And we're talking about peer-peer relationships. So I think you will see yourselves, I certainly saw myself, in some of the dialogue that she creates in this little section. She says, when we use the longer version of a non-defensive interaction, we can ask content and process questions, use any or all of the 4 formats we've gone over already for making a statement, and use both formats for making predictions. The remainder of this chapter demonstrates how to apply this process in 3 general categories of relationships: peer relationships, non-peer relationships, in other words, hierarchical, so that might be you talking to your boss, that might be your boss talking to you, and group relationships. So first she's going to present a completely scripted example to demonstrate using all of the parts together. And it's a little bit much when there's all the parts together, but again, pick out one and practice it. That moves the needle forward in your communication. That's fabulous. Then she's going to apply some variations of the process to common situations in each of those 3 relationship categories. So, peer relationships. For many of us, the easiest place to begin using non-defensive communication is in one-to-one relationships with peers, siblings, intimate partners, friends, or coworkers. The following dialogue between Sally and Marcus reflects an issue. Remember Sally and Marcus? They're the ones who she always wants to talk things through, and he always wants to pull into himself and resolve it himself first before talking. Common in many relationships of one person who does not want to talk and the other who keeps probing. Does that ring a bell for anybody? It models the sequential use of all 8 basic formats for speaking non-defensively. While people rarely use every format in a single conversation, I think it is feasible to do so. Good morning, Amy. Glad you are here. Welcome. It can bring clarity to a conversation even in a matter of minutes, and provides a way for either person to respond to difficult issues without getting caught up in the power struggle. You know those conversations you have with whoever your person is. For me, it's my sister, and we kind of laugh about it, that we can feel ourselves at the top of the slippery slope, and oh shit, there we go, and it's off and running, and we're baiting each other and being nasty. And so this is the opportunity to practice new skills and see that you get a different outcome. This example can also be applied to countless other situations where core issues such as denial, double messages, resistance, and intrusiveness are present. So here's the conversation between Sally and Marcus. Sally, are you upset about something? So that's a content question in a neutral tone. Marcus, no, I'm just fine. Denying the problem but sending double messages with his tone and his body language. Sally, are you willing to talk to me about whatever you are thinking about right now? Process question, neutral tone. And again, we've talked about this a bazillion times. The neutral tone is the hard part to pull off because we start getting irritated and it comes. So we take the breath. We take the pause. Let's take a breath right now. Good morning, Peggy. Glad you're here. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Letting your shoulders drop. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Breathing can be your biggest ally when you are working on managing to come across neutral. All right? Marcus says, I told you, nothing is wrong. So he's continuing to deny, and there's a double message. So what he's saying does not match up with how he appears. And she's about to make a statement about that. Sally, well, I think you're telling me that you're in a good mood and nothing is bothering you. So that's a statement, the I hear part, the overt part, what is being put on the table in a neutral tone. What I see when I look at you is you are slumped in your chair, frowning intensely and shaking your head. Your voice also sounds very harsh to me. So it's a statement. It's the I see part. She's pulling out the covert message, the difference between what he is overtly telling her that she hears and what she is covertly seeing that he's not copping to. And again, neutral tone. I don't believe you are feeling fine. I believe you are feeling pressured about something and are denying it, possibly because you want to figure it out by yourself. So that's a statement. She's drawing conclusions, an interpretation of his motive. Now there's an opportunity for him to correct her perception. Maybe she is all wet. Maybe she's not perceiving accurately. So he could correct it, owning where he's really at, but he could also correct it by continuing to deny, right? And then again, she's got the neutral tone. But here comes her statement of her feelings. I'm angry about getting double messages, and I have a huge urge to try to make you talk to me, but I know I can't make you. I also feel helpless because I don't know how to reach you. It's very hard for me to go about my day with you sitting here like this. So again, statement. It's a full expression of her thoughts, her beliefs, and her feelings. It's her own experience of this. So she's putting it out there so he knows where she's coming from. She continues. If you don't talk to me, I believe you will continue to feel a lot of pressure inside, and it may be harder to deal with whatever is bothering you. So there's her challenge choice prediction thing. If you do A, I perceive that B will be the outcome. Again, neutral tone. It's not threatening. It's not, if you do this, I'm going to do that. It's neutral. If you do talk to me, I think you might get rid of some of the pressure and find it easier to figure things out. Again, another challenge choice prediction in a neutral tone. If you decide to talk to me, then I would like to hear what's going on. There's a limit setting statement. It's a prediction still, but it's limit setting in a neutral tone. If you don't want to talk to me, then I'm not going to try to convince you to do it. Limit setting prediction, neutral tone. Now again, she can violate her own words there, can't she? She could say, well, then I'm not going to push you, and then surreptitiously keep sidling around, looking at him. Are you ready? Are you ready? And violate her own prediction. That's not helpful. If, on the other hand, she sticks to what she's predicted, things will tend to flow. So, now, here's the point. Marcus has 8 different opportunities in that section that she just did, which probably would take a minute or less. 8 different opportunities to decide whether to respond defensively or non-defensively. Sally may give all 3 parts of the position statement and both parts of the predictions consequently or consecutively if Marcus doesn't respond. But it's important for her to pause and give herself space between each part of her position statement and her predictions. A, so she doesn't slide into accusatory, but B, also because it gives him the opportunity to rise to the occasion, take one of those threads, and run with it. She might not have to do all 8 parts if she gives enough space for him to respond to one of them, right? On the other hand, if Sally is silent too long between each part, she may load the silence with her own intense feelings or expectations. By pausing to breathe between each part of the position statement and both sides of each prediction, she also gives Marcus time to respond if he wants to, but without pressuring him. And remember, with the predictions, you do both sides. You don't say, if you do this, I'll do that. No, you got to give the other side of the prediction. And if you choose to do this, I will do that. And sometimes there's 3 or 4 choices. So if you do A, I will do X. If you do B, I will do Y. If you do C, I will do Z. Lay them all out there. They're all on the table as you perceive it. And again, your person may respond with, well, you forgot about E. Because they may see some possibilities that you don't. That's cool. Then it's out on the table and you have more options to discuss. If we are using a non-defensive sequence such as this, and the other person speaks up defensively, because how often is that likely to happen? Probably every damn time, right? They aren't instantly going to shift their gears, at least in the beginning. They're probably going to stay defensive for a couple of rounds. Let's see here, where am I? If they speak up defensively, we can just go back to what we are saying and not get hooked into argument. For example, if someone interjects, I'm not denying anything, we can simply just continue saying, I don't want to try to prove that you are. I'm simply describing how it seems to me. And you go back to saying what you're saying. In this case, Sally made the challenge choice predictions before the limit setting ones. So she did the, if you don't talk to me, I believe you will continue to feel pressure inside and it may be harder to deal with what is bothering you. That's challenge choice. And here's the other side of that one. If you do talk to me, I think you might get rid of some of the pressure and find it easier to figure things out. So there's the challenge choice ones. Then the next ones are the limit setting predictions. If you decide you want to talk to me, then I would like to hear what's going on. If you don't want to talk to me, then I'm not going to try to convince you to do it. So those are the prediction ones. And it's limit setting. She wanted Marcus to have that information to consider before she made it clear that she would not try to convince him to talk. She ended on a note that respected his freedom to choose silence. And for most of us, that's hard for us. My ex-husband, it used to be, I want to talk about it now. And he wants to ride around on the lawnmower for 3 or 4 hours pondering things. So we had to work out a way to deal with that. If the challenge choice had come after the limit-setting prediction, it could well have sounded like, I'm not going to try to convince you to talk, but you are going to have a tough time if you don't. In other cases, the challenge choice prediction might be used last. You practice. You try this stuff out. You see what works. You may find that with particular people, one pattern works, and with other people, something different works. Or one time one thing works, another time something else works. It's very much like dealing with children, right? So reward works great one time and the next time it doesn't work at all. Nature of the beast, right? As they worked together on this issue, Marcus could also ask questions and make statements and predictions for Sally, because this is a two-part street, people. It's not just Marcus is the a-hole and she's perfectly fine. She's got some stuff she's dealing with here too, okay? So here's the deal. For example, Marcus might want to talk to Sally about not pressuring him to speak when he is upset. Marcus, are you willing to not push me when I am in a bad mood and don't feel like talking? It's a process question in a neutral tone. Sally, well, you probably would never talk if I didn't. So she's displaying resistance to accepting his unwillingness to talk and desire to control his own choices. Marcus, are you saying that you are going to keep trying to make me talk even if I'm not ready? It's a process question, neutral tone. Sally, well, no, I guess it's your choice. Reluctant acceptance of his choice to refrain from talking. Now, he's not going to let this go. She's doing the, okay, fine, maybe. And he's going to call her out on it. Marcus, I hear you saying that you won't try to force me to talk to you. That's part one of the statement. The I hear, the neutral part, okay? And he's got his neutral tone. Your words were that you guess it's my choice, and you're frowning and sighing and shrugging your shoulders. Again, a statement of what he sees. So he's calling out the covert message in a neutral tone. I believe you sound reluctant to stop pressuring me, and I think it will be hard for you to accept it if I don't talk right away when you want me to. So it's a statement that has his conclusions in it, his observations, the interpretation of her motivation, neutral tone. Now here's his feeling statement. I feel frustrated. I want to learn to be more open when I am upset, but not because I'm giving in to your pressure. So it's a statement. It's his full expression of his thoughts, his feelings, where he's coming from, his beliefs, his experience. If you do pressure me, then I will refuse to even consider talking until you stop. There's his limit-setting prediction, the first part. So, and that's the if you do. Now here's his if you don't. If you don't pressure me, then I'll talk as soon as I feel open enough. It's a limit-setting prediction, neutral tone. If you don't trust that I will talk to you after I think things through for a little while, then I believe it will be hard for you to stop pressuring me. That's the challenge choice. So in this case, when she was talking, she did the challenge choice two-part prediction first, and then the limit-setting two-part prediction second. He's doing them in the reverse order. So here's the other half of his challenge choice, which is where he's going to end. If you can trust that I will talk to you after I work through my feelings a little bit, I think it would be easier for you to stop trying to control whether I talk immediately or not. The challenge choice, the second part, neutral tone. The conversation initiated by Sally and the one initiated by Marcus do not have to be mutually exclusive. Good morning, Mel. We're doing non-defensive communication this morning. Marcus can have the goal of becoming more open when he is upset, while Sally can have the goal of not trying to control whether he talks or not. Marcus can know that he will be more accountable for his own decisions about talking, and Sally can know that she will be more accountable with regard to pressuring Marcus. So they're each working on their stuff, right? Each will have consequences for their actions. This gives you one example of a conversation approached by two people when both parties are motivated to change. How each of them responds the next time the issue comes up will determine how the interaction goes. Sally may say she won't pressure him to talk and do it anyway. Or she might try not to pressure him and sulk silently to herself. Or she might stick to her word. Those are the options, right? Those are the options. Marcus might ask her not to pressure him and then never talk about what was going on that upset him. Or he might be able to talk more quickly. Many times in intimate relationships, we get dragged down by each other's problems. A thorough, non-defensive process enables each person to maintain enough separateness to be accountable for their own behavior. If Marcus chooses not to talk, then Sally, instead of getting bogged down in a destructive conflict, may decide what to do next with her time. Marcus then has the space to think about whatever is bothering him, perhaps even his own isolation and inability to talk. Such separateness and accountability afford us a healthy independence, which I think is essential in order to support one another's growth and come together in real intimacy. If one person is still engaging in defensiveness or power struggle, the person using these steps might take only 60 to 90 seconds to gather as much information as possible and then make statements and predictions. This small investment of time is quite different from the typical argument, which can go on indefinitely. Carefully proceeding through these steps saves the person from entering the power struggle while preserving openness, honesty, and integrity. The person does not have to accept the other's denial, does not need to ignore the double messages, and does not have to try to prove the validity of any of their own observations or reactions, but can deal with any issue in a straightforward way, making observations, expressing reactions, and setting boundaries clearly, even without the other person's cooperation. You are free. Likewise, the other person does not have to accept being coerced into talking or engage in long periods of sullenness as the only available means for resisting pressure to talk. Having both people use the non-defensive process provides the most information possible about each person's reactions, choices, and possible consequences. It keeps the feedback loop wide open. Such a conversation may last only a few minutes. Good morning, Deb. Glad you are here. Welcome. Or it may expand into an in-depth discussion of related issues, the kind of heart-to-heart conversation in which both people are fully engaged, the kind of mutual exchange in which new insights are gained and emotional and spiritual bonds strengthened. So when you have these conversations, it can grow your relationship, right? Because you're not doing battle. You're not alienating each other. And what I like about this is, again, it doesn't require both people to be on the same page. As long as either one of you can practice the non-defensive stuff, it takes the wind out of the sails of the combat, right? How's that for a mixed metaphor? Anyway, it's hard to fight with somebody who won't fight. It's hard to keep yourself elevated in that, pissy attitude when the other person is just meeting you neutrally. So if you do A, I will do B. If you do C, I will do D. There's nothing to push against there. They can try, but there's really nothing to push against. And then you go about your business. You've stated very clearly what's going to happen. You go about your business. So is this easy to do? Not when someone knows what your buttons are and lights you up like a Christmas tree. Is it worth practicing? Absolutely. So you stop. You're lit up like a Christmas tree. You stop. You take a couple of breaths. You think. You try to get your emotionally hijacked brain back online. So there's the place where you can do some whole brain posture. You can do some tapping. You can do some breathing. Just the things that help you regain control of yourself. And then I hear you telling me this. What I'm observing is that. If you do this, I will do that. If you do that, I will do this. Leave it. Put spaces in between so you can see if the person is willing to interact. And go from there. Practice, practice, practice. It's so important to practice. It's so important to hang on to your commitment to doing this for yourself, but also for them. Even if they're truculent and pissy and don't want to cooperate, do it anyway. Again, it's kind of like dealing with kids. When they're throwing the hissy fit in the middle of Walmart, you're the one who needs to maintain some decorum, right? You don't throw yourself on the floor and throw the hissy fit with them, do you? You don't screech and holler at the top of your lungs. At least I hope you don't. But you may move forward. You may pick them up, tuck them under your arm, walk out the door, abandon your cart, feet are kicking on one end, hair is flying on the other, and away we go. Eventually they get to the point where they realize, if I throw myself on the floor and have the hissy fit, they're going to pick me up and haul me out. And that isn't what I want. I'd rather see if I can manipulate in some other way to get what I want. All that garbage that they put in the checkout lanes that makes it miserable for parents and grandparents to get the kids out of there, right? Practice, 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 practice. Be kind to yourself in your attempts to practice. So let's say you get through 3 rounds and then you lose your shit. You made it through 3 rounds. Yay, you. Fabulous. That's good. As soon as you catch it, as soon as you can, stop, back up. Wait a minute. That's not where I want to go. Let me try this again. If you do this, I will do that. If you do this, I will do that. If you do this, I'm thinking that might happen. If you do this, I'm thinking this might happen. Pause. Give them time to respond. Practice, practice, practice. This takes time, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. So back in the day when I was a graduate student, there was a process that is called dialectical behavior training, and it was for kids. And so we'd practice with parents and toddlers, and the parents would have a bug in their ear, and I'd be behind the one-way glass, and I'd be telling them what to say, yada, yada. To begin with, it was stilted and uncomfortable, and it was not, basically what they were doing was describing what their kid was doing. Oh, you put the red block on the blue block. Now you picked up the green block. Just describing what they were doing. The value of that is kids know you're being attended to. So you don't get all of the mama, 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 mama. And you can do it so say you're cooking dinner. Ooh, you're picking up the blue block. Still cooking dinner. Now you're putting the red block on the green block. Still cooking dinner. It's easy to give them some attention at the same time that you're doing the things you need to do. But the point was, the more the parent practiced, the easier it got to do it. How often did we recommend that they practice per day? 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes is doable. 5 minutes doesn't feel overwhelming to overwhelmed parents. Same for this stuff. Practice 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Good morning, Susan. Glad you are here. Welcome. 5 minutes. If you practice your powerful, non-defensive communication, pick one. I'm going to practice making neutral statements. I'm going to practice making the observation. I'm going to practice doing the if you do this, I will do that. I'm going to practice. Pick something. 5 minutes. That's all it's going to take. That's all it's going to take. So I will be on here tomorrow morning, and then I won't be on for roughly a week. I may pop on here periodically just to show you some wonderful things from where I'm at in Mexico. But again, I encourage you, go back to previous YEMIGs. Listen to them again. There's always more to glean from these. And what you pulled from it the first time may not be at all what you pull from it the second time. Thank you. I will. I'm so looking forward to it. So looking forward to it. Got my hat in there. Got my sunscreen. I'm ready to go. So, have an awesome day today. We'll see you again tomorrow. And remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.